Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back. Welcome back to 18 Yard Box. And just to peek into the mind of Mikel Arteta, it's an attempt. We are attempting to see what is the plan, right? It's scary right now for an Arsenal fan. We are currently in a state of flux in the sense that we're spending more than we've ever spent in our entire history. Also, it seems like we're trying to let some key players go. Some of these players at their form last season was responsible for our success relatively in the sense that we're able to make the Champions League, compete for the league for 30, 31 games of the season. But also, on the other side, they're partly responsible for the drop in form of the team. A player like Thomas Partey just looked 30 games of the season looked like the best midfielder in the league. In the last 8 games, what happened? What changed? What is responsible for such a massive drop off in form, in fitness, and basic defending? So this is an attempt into his mind. Now, before we dive straight into who we are buying, why are we buying them, first of all, let's recap and recalibrate the basic philosophies and how Mikel wants to play. So I've broken them down into like 5 different facets. We know Mikel has an emphasis on ball possession. He wants to keep the ball. He wants to play high. He wants to push into the opposition area as much as possible. There's a reason why we have Zinchenko inverted into midfield, right? That means we have a numerical advantage against most teams. We play a 3-man midfield. Zinchenko inverts, we have 4. Against most teams, usually typically plays a 2-man midfield. He either play a 4-2-3-1, a version of 4-4-2, something like that. So when we're attacking, that's how we play. We turn into a 3-man defense with Benjamin White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Zinchenko tucked into the midfield with Thomas Partey. So it sounds like a 3-2, right? Then another 2 in terms of Xhaka and Odegaard. Then a 3 up front. So it's very weird. When we're defending, we like to defend with a 4-man defense, a 4-man midfield with Saka and Martinelli on both sides tucked in, Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus pressing, right? So those are the leaders of our press. They're responsible for the pressing. Now, if we are to believe that Granit Xhaka is leaving, which almost every news out there, that is what we're hearing. We're hearing that Granit is leaving for £21.5 million to Bayer Leverkusen. Decent money for a player who hasn't been exactly the greatest, but who has been able to change our mind the last 18 to 24 months. It's been pretty good. It's been one of the best midfielders in the league for the last 18 months. But can we improve upon Granit? Yes. And this is the reason why I think so. I know most people want to talk about formation, but my idea about football generally is about profile, right? If you play Odin right now, centre back, we're playing a 4-man centre back, 4-3-3. We're playing Odin in that position and playing someone like Saliba in that position gives you 2 entirely different things, right? You're keeping the same formation, but if the profile doesn't suit what you're trying to do, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So it's more about the profile of the players, the ability of the players, than the formation, right? So I'll give you an example. We're trying to get Yuri Timber. Yuri Timber looks like, on paper, looks like a player that will seamlessly fit into what we're trying to do, right? The same way with Zinchenko coming in. Zinchenko is a fullback, is a midfielder who plays a fullback, right? But look at Tierney, an incredible fullback, one of the best fullback in the league, in my opinion. It looks like it's a total misfit in our 4-man defense. Why? Because he doesn't have the ability to tuck in, right? He's good defensively, way better than Zinchenko. But in terms of progressing the ball and how we want to play, which served us for 90% of the season, Tierney is not the right profile. He wouldn't fit into our 4-3-3. It will fit in perfectly into the 4-3-3 at Newcastle. Newcastle play similar formation with us. They play a 4-man defense, a 3-man midfield, a 3-man attack. But Tierney looks like he's not going to do it at Arsenal. But profile-wise and based on how they want to play at Newcastle, it's going to fit in perfectly because they want their fullbacks playing fullbacks, keeping the weight, running up, crossing into the box. That is how they want to play. So it's less about the formation and more about the profile. So for Mikel, it's about the profile of the footballers in the team. Now, why do we want to replace Thomas Partey? The rumors are going around. Personally, I would want to keep Thomas Partey, right? He's basically one of the best midfielders in the league. But can we improve on Thomas? Yes, we can in terms of defensive transitions. Right, Declan Rice is a better defender than Thomas Partey. That is factual. The stats point to that. All the stats of the defending in the league when it comes to defensive midfielder, Rice is like the 1% of those stats, right? Partey is somewhere around that angle, but he doesn't do as much defensively compared to Rice. We've seen it. The Rice is tested and trusted when it comes to defending. So we are trying to improve, in my opinion. Mikel's idea is I'm trying to improve on the defensive side of my team, right? But improve on the attacking side of Xhaka, right? So if you're getting Havertz, which is something we've already been doing, I don't get like if you go around social media and go around everywhere, the consensus is like, oh, Arteta is a madman. Why is he trying to play Havertz in that position Xhaka currently plays? We did that last season. We played Fabio Vieira in that position. Fine, it didn't exactly work, but it seems Mikel wants to go with 2-8. 2-8, when you think about the way we play, 90% of the times our 8s, apart from Odegaard is a player who has so much affinity for the ball, right? He wants to touch the ball every time. So Odegaard is not actually your stereotypical 8, like I don't know, Bruno, a last pass player. No, he's not that. Odegaard is our technical leader in terms of he's a cerebral player. We want to touch the ball, feel the ball, come deep, take the ball off our midfielders, take the ball off Partey, play in between the lines. That is where Odegaard comes alive, right? But when it comes to Granit, majority of last season plays off the left, right? You typically see when Zinchenko comes into the midfield, Granit goes wide, right? It goes wide almost like he's an auxiliary left back, right? And it stays wide. Zinchenko into midfield, it stays wide. Havertz will be perfect playing that position, and I believe he can have better attacking output from that position. He is more suited to that position. He can run better. I understand the problem will be the defensive transition, right? But that is why we're trying to get legs, right? And in terms of legs in the Premier League, there is no better midfielder at running both ways than Declan Rice. This is fact. So the profile of that player suits exactly to a T what Mikel is looking for, right? In defensive transition, Declan Rice is better than Partey, is better than Caicedo, is better than Casemiro. Rodri, statistically, yes, it's better than Rodri, but when you look at Rodri, how Rodri plays, Rodri's understanding of spatial awareness is incredible. But it's all about what can you give to get what, right? We're trying to become more defensively solid, which has been our Achilles heel. Even last season, we considered an insane amount of goals, especially at home. And at home, where we're trying to dominate more on the ball and teams to catch us within transition. There's a lot of games where this happened. Southampton at the Emirates Stadium, it happened. Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium, it happened. Manchester United at the Emirates Stadium, it happened. Defensive errors here and there. Who's going to mop up that area? That area of the field. We need a player with legs. And also, something that you can't buy is availability. This guy plays every single game, right? You're at Arsenal, you won't be asked to play many games, but you need to play 34 of 38 games a season, right? Which is going rate. Saka plays that amount of games a season. Odegaard, yes, plays amount of games a season. Granit Xhaka plays that many games a season. Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes played every single game last season. Who else? Ramsdale, Zinchenko too is an injury-prone player. We've seen it from Man City. So you need to increase the quality of the squad and buy players with similar profile. They're not exactly the same. You retain back and talking, right? You retain back talking perfectly into the midfield and allow us to advance, right? You're talking next to Declan Rice. And if we keep at it, that's the ideal situation, right? I'm saying, oh, you want a shiny new toy, buy Lavia, unless there are issues beyond football, which, going around Twitter and everything, people have talked about these issues. I'm not exactly sure until somebody gives us more information about this. But just for footballing purpose, you can get a Thomas Partey to play with Declan Rice easy. In some games away from home, yeah, you play a double pivot, defend. The height is very important. Thomas Partey is about 6 foot, and Declan Rice is like 6'1". I understand letting Xhaka go, but ideally I would want Partey to stay. Right, we can go next season. Next Partey will be 1 year into his contract end of next season. We can go buy another central midfielder next season. But right now, in terms of stability and in terms of continuity and not losing so much of our base, I believe we should keep Thomas Partey once Rice is in and let Xhaka go, right? But this is just ways of variation that you want to play. Because at the end of the day, you want a lot of players, a pool of players, 16 to 18 players that you can pick from who can give you consistent performance throughout the season. And how do you get consistent performance from your top players? You do that by rotating the squad, right? Rotating the squad carefully. Rotating is an art, right? You tend to, like Saka was overburdened. He's played almost every single game the last 3 years for Arsenal. It's too much. He's 21 years old. Martinelli, too many games. Too mane games until Trossard came. Martinelli, they know they're going to play. Martinelli, Saka, they know they're going to play. Yeah, that's fine. Liverpool did that with Mane and Salah. But most teams are not like that. Most players are going to get injured 1 month out, 2 months out during the course of a season. It's all about managing the squad carefully and making sure that we maximize productivity out of these players. And especially from the month of March going forward, we have our best players fit and ready to finish the season strong. We didn't finish the season strong 2 seasons ago. Tottenham picked us to the Champions League spot, where we're dead on set to making Champions League. We didn't finish the season strong last season. This just recently completed season. And that allowed Man City to sweep in, right? When you go through Man City's squad, you have Kai Walker playing 30 games last season. Yeah, they just won the treble. Kai Walker, one of the best fullback in the world, played like 30, 35 games. You have Ruben Diaz, maybe 35, 40 games. And they had a 60-something game season. So you would understand my point when I said you need a bigger squad to rotate. When Saliba had his back issues, maybe if we hadn't brought in Saliba with a lot of games throughout the season, it wouldn't have a back issue. Then it will be ready to finish the season strong. Maybe if we had an able replacement, if you have the Caicedo in January, not a Jorginho that we're not sure if he has a physicality to help us out in the middle of the park because we play so high. If you had a Caicedo in January, maybe you can rotate Thomas Partey properly, and Partey would have arrived at the tail end of the season being fit and ready to finish strong, right? Same with Saka. Who do you rotate with Saka? These are the kind of questions that needs answered by Edu and Mikel in terms of team building. We're happy with the funds being made available. We're happy with the progression of the market, but we want a bigger squad, right? Not we're trying to trim the squad and just swapping one player for another player. I hope I'm able to shine a little bit of light into what I think is Mikel's mindset towards building the team towards next season. Hopefully, we're able to keep Thomas Partey or we're able to buy an able replacement. Lavia, Tremaine, I don't know. Just get them. They're not. I don't think there's a player that you can get to replace Partey, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll get surprised and they'll pull a rabbit out of the hats. Thank you guys for having me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. See you again very soon. Goodbye. God bless.